Welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and in this episode we're taking a look at my very first EXO-6 Star Trek action figure. We first met EXO-6 way back when I did my virtual toy fair event. We talked to them about all the new things they had coming out, and since that time they've been kicking butt with the Star Trek license. They've released characters from the original series, from the movies, TNG, DS9, as we're going to take a look at today, Voyager, Enterprise, and Discovery, and they have plans to do a whole lot more. It's been a very impressive lineup so far, but I have stayed away from it because these toys do come at a much higher price point than, let's say, the Playmates figures you'll find on shelves at Targets or Walmarts. So that's why today I'm taking my very first look at one of these figures for myself with my favorite Starfleet captain of all time, and that would be Captain Benjamin Sisko from DS9. So EXO-6 is making museum-grade quality 1/6 scale figures. That means these are 12 inches tall, they are enormous, they are beautiful, and I cannot wait to actually take a closer look at this thing here. But first things first, let's just talk about this packaging. That's going to be very quick because there's not really a ton to say. And I also just want to get this guy out of the box. The front of the packaging has a great portrait of what this figure is going to look like once it's out of the box, and it's a beautiful sneak preview of what's to come. Now going from the top of the box and then across to the side, we have a really nice image of all the DS9 cast members, and I would hope this is also a sneak peek of who's coming next. And on the back of the box, we have a look at all the accessories that this Sisko is going to come with. And by the way, I have the special edition of this Sisko figure. They actually made two versions of this. There's a normal version, and then there's this one here, which is the essentially deluxe version of this toy. Now what makes it deluxe is that this has a bunch more accessories, as you're going to see once you open this thing up. And they are totally, I think, worth the money. At least I thought they were worth the money for the pre-order. As far as once you get them out of the box, well, we'll see. But like I said, I didn't really want to linger too much on the packaging, so I actually really do want to take them out and see what it looks like. So this is a removable sleeve, so I'm going to just slide this out right now. You guys will get to look first at him, if you can see it. And I'm going to take a peek right now. And this is literally my first time looking at this figure in person, in hand. And okay, I just turned into Rom for a second there. Oh, this is a good action figure. Yeah, I'm kind of speechless at the moment. I'm gonna see how I feel once he's out of the packaging, but oh yeah, no, the smile says it all. So I think we need to go ahead and beam this Sisko out of the box and take a closer look at him from all angles. So over here is how this figure is going to come out of the box once you do remove it. And we have two sections here. We have this top section here, which has got Sisko and a bunch of his main accessories. And if we actually slide this guy right on up and out, you'll see hiding behind him is all of his bonus accessories, which includes his phaser rifle, his vest, his other shirt. We'll get into that in a little bit, but that's just so you guys can see how this is all packaged together. And we also have on the side over here this nice trading card, which again we'll also take a look at in a little bit. We'll figure out what this guy is, but yeah, a lot of cool stuff here to take a peek at. But right now I do want to actually just do a proper unboxing, I guess, if you will, and let's just go ahead and slide this guy out, and this will be my first real look at what this figure is going to look like. Let's go, here we go. I like how he's wearing a bag on his head to even make this more dramatic. So let's go ahead and take him out. Underneath Sisko, by the way, you can see there is a base for him. Again, we'll take a look at all this stuff in a few minutes, but for now, this is the figure itself. Let's go ahead and slide this off. And he also has some tape on his arms as well, and on his boots. And this is mainly to help to protect the figure from having some staining in the packaging. Now, I do want to point out the back of the box doesn't have really much information on it at all, but it does have a QR code to send you to their website for an instructional video about how this action figure is going to work. And I would assume the best practice is to take clothing off or change accessories and change hands and that kind of thing. But more importantly, what it does have is a list of credits for who made this figure. And I want to mention those names too right now. This was executive produced by Nanjin, who I believe is also the founder of the company. The director is David Stefan. The sculptor was Godwin Nerona. The paint master was Hao Yu Toys. The engineer was Jackie Wu. The marketing director was Charmaine Tam, who we spoke to back at our virtual toy fair event. And the videographer to promote the toy was Anthony Woldarski. Alright, so let's kick off this review proper now, and let's just start by taking a look at this gorgeous Benjamin Sisko figure right here. And I mean, it really is a breathtaking thing of beauty. I mean, just checking out all the detail on this fabric, on the outfit, the body, I mean, even the shoes, even the Starfleet issue shoes are looking quite beautiful. So I'm already pretty blown away here, and I gotta tell you too, that likeness is just stellar. I'm just loving all the detail that's there. I mean, you guys can hopefully see, it's a little hard to tell, but like the paint job on it too, it's not just a flat color. It's got a lot of tone. There's really just so much realism in here. That's why they call this a museum-grade quality figure. So I'm just going to focus on the head. That's why I'm giving you guys a quick look at the rotation right now, just so you can see it from every angle. You know, I know this is a weird thing to say, but even like the back of his head, that's just crazy looking to me. Like, this is why I love these figures. This is also why I can't buy them, because I love them this much that, you know, they would drain my bank account very quickly. But Really, just like every angle of him, like it looks like Avery Brooks. There's no denying that at all. I mean, down to even like some wrinkles in his eyes or his nose, his cheeks, his lips. This is all just like breathtaking. In fact, I want to just pause him right here from this 3/4 profile because I feel like that's always one of the better ways to look at a person and look at a toy especially. And man, no, just like the amount of detail, the gorgeous subtle paint job that's across him too. I mean, I hope it comes out, but just like how his forehead has different colors, his cheeks, his nose, the lips, you know, like these are things that make him look like he is an actual human being. Now, another thing I want to spend some time talking about too is the beard, because for me, action figures and beards, they don't get along very well. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, they just tend to not look good. In the case of our Sisko here, this is how a beard should be painted. I know there's not much of a crossover between wrestling toy collectors and Star Trek toy collectors, but I look at a lot of wrestling toys, and a lot of those guys have beards. And one of my biggest nitpicks with these toys is how they paint them. And not just how they paint them, but also how they sculpt them too. But right here, this is an example of how a beard can be done well. And it's not like there's like a ton going on here. Beards are fairly simple, but they kept it nice and simple. And I think that's kind of really what helps it here. There is subtle texturing here. There is a nice transparent paint job. It's not like globbed on either. And I think that's the important thing about it, is that they're not just like tossing a ton of dark paint on here. It is done kind of thin. You can tell it's done thinly because you can still see the skin tone underneath the figure. And that's what makes it look so realistic. The fact that you can still have some light peeking out from underneath it, so that it looks like you can still see his skin behind it. And also the way they did all the different follicles in his beard, it looks like hair. That's such a hard thing to pull off, but they totally nailed it. And same thing with the eyebrows too. You know, again, eyebrows on most $20, $30 action figures, they're painted very thick, so they need to be shown that way. But for our Sisko here, it is very subtle. It's very lifelike and accurate to how Avery Brooks looks. Now, I know there is no comparison between the $30 Marvel Legends and what they're doing here with EXO-6, but I kind of just want to point out to folks who might not understand why this is priced as high as it is, because we're looking at right now a deluxe version. I think that was like $225. So it is a ton more money, but yeah, you get what you pay for. So the head sculpt is gorgeous. I can keep raving about that all day, but I'm not going to. Let's just spend a little bit more time, I think, on his outfit here. And again, this is like just, you know, I'm going to say it's screen accurate. I'm not going to be the guy that like counts every single one of these guys up here, every single fold or whatever. But to me, I mean, this looks beautiful. It's crisp, it's clean, it looks the way that it should. And that's good enough for me. So let's spend some time now. And I think I want to talk about articulation because I want to see how well these things move. And I'm doing this kind of early on in the video because, well, I don't really know, but let's just see here. So the head is ball jointed. That's looking good. Moves nicely. Oh, it looks so organic the way it moves too. Like the peg joint on there is so nice. That's great. Let's see about the arms. So one of my concerns is that the outfit here is going to be maybe a little constricting, and it does feel a little constricting. One of the things too when you're working a figure of this price point, be gentle. Be very, very gentle, because if you tear this thing, you're out $250 basically. So yeah, don't mess around. Take your time. So the shoulders do feel a little tight. I'm a little afraid to move them too much, but all right, we'll do it little bit by little bit. You can hear the joint in there is moving. So there is some articulation, but it does get a little tight on the top of the shoulders. The waist is also feeling pretty tight. I am curious to see what kind of body he has underneath it, but that's not moving a ton. The legs have some good articulation too, but I'm not going to try and do any splits or anything. I just want to see, oh, all right, wow. He's got really good bend to his knees. That's actually really impressive. I want to see what he's got under there. It feels like it's just a solid kind of wire body, but I don't know. And also kind of fun, on the boots here, hopefully you guys can see that, they have little straps to them, which I think is what helps keep the pants really nice and lined in Starfleet quality. So, you know, and yeah, these do have swivel and can move. So I will say for the most part, you know, the wrists can also rotate and flex very nicely. This is not the kind of figure you're going to be doing the most dynamic posing with. I mean, you could try. I'm not going to because I'm pretty unfamiliar with working with toys at this price point. So from my experience right now, I'll just tell you guys, be careful. But I am having a little bit of constrainment up top here. So with that said, let's move on to accessories, because this Sisko has a lot of accessories, and this being the deluxe version, I have more than the typical version comes with. For starters, we have 4 hands here. We have a pair of closed fists for when you need to punch Q, and then we have a pair of hands that are going to hold some different things here. It looks like one of these can hold a phaser. I think this is the phaser hand over here. This is going to probably be the hand for like tricorders or possibly his baseball, which is a lot of fun. So those are the 4 initial hands. We have an adorable little tricorder. This is so cool. So I didn't know this about these figures, but folding it out, all you gotta do is open it up like this, and it does fold out. And like, just look how great this is. But what I want to show you guys especially is, uh-oh, I broke it. No, I didn't. It's magnetic. I had no idea that's how they were doing that. And apparently all the accessories are magnetized. That's brilliant. I mean, this really cuts down on the fact that these could potentially break with someone, you know, if you're too rough with them or whatever. Making them magnetic is such a great choice. Love that. Brilliant. Great engineering there. But yeah, the detail work on this, oh my god, like, yo, speechless. This is beautiful. This right here is just worth the money. I mean, wow. That's so cool. And by the way, when you're done using it with your character, you can just fold it up into closed position. And you also have a tricorder holster that you can then slide them on into. And boom, you can attach it to your Sisko figure, which we'll do as well in a little bit. We also have a phaser. We have a hand phaser right here. Again, really great. I love the paint job here on this. Beautiful colors, smooth sculpting. Oh, wow, this is so good looking. Man, I cannot wait to actually put this in his hand. And by the way, yes, this also has a holster, which we can slide on into right over here. And this is also magnetized to easily put it onto our figure once we're ready to display him like that. We also have this lovely little pad right here. Again, amazing decal on this thing. Just look at all that detail it's on there. I mean, that's like an actual L card they just squeezed onto that. It's great. And likewise too with little stickers down here. I mean, there's just like so much great detail on this thing. This is just so worth the money. Look how thin this piece of plastic is too. I mean, that's just also kind of fun. Yeah, even on the back, it actually has that sticker too, or decal, I should say, because at this price point, they're decals, folks, not stickers. But wow, yeah, this is just like amazing. That's going to be the word I keep saying throughout this entire video because I'm really wowed by this. Great pad. And of course, Sisko also has to have his baseball. So we have a nice little teeny tiny baseball here to go with you. And yeah, there is a hand to hold it, so we'll play with that in a little bit, but there is very nice baseball here too. The figure also comes with a base, but we're going to look at that a little bit later on, but this is essentially what it looks like, and it's a piece of the transporter pad. And what's also going to be fun about these is that they're all interconnectable. So if you get multiple DS9 figures, you can put them together to have a giant transporter pad display. And yeah, there's this little piece of film here which you can use to, nice. You always try to do that as slow as you can, but I just kind of went hard by accident. So yeah, there's a nice covering on it too. Oh man, this is... Okay, well my guy, oddly enough, it's a little bit loose. I'm hoping I can push that back down. I think they're all kind of loose. Yeah, okay. So they're not loose, it's just kind of how it comes, but they do snap back together. Wow, this is nice too. There's also a handle at the base to help keep your figures vertical, but I'm going to show you guys off that a little bit later on. We have an additional outfit for our Sisko figure to wear. That would be this vest and this additional shirt here. And this is going to be meant to replicate his famous moment from the episode In the Pale Moonlight. I am curious to see how these figures are going to swap clothes and how easy that's going to be or how hard that's going to be. So we'll come back to that. But hey, they're here and they're looking great. They feel wonderful. Oh man, I'm a little scared to try these guys swapping clothes, but we're going to have to do it, so stay tuned. And over here is the other bonus accessories, which is an additional 3 hands. I guess this one's going to be for the glass over here, because there's the little tiny glass. And we also have a phaser rifle. So I want to take some time to actually look at these things right now. We already saw the hands. We'll see them more later on, but I wanted to spend some time with the phaser rifle, because this is one of my favorite props in Star Trek history. I've always liked the phaser rifles. Let's see. So again, just like great job sculpting, wonderful paint on this thing. Let's see, I'm going to move the strap also out of the way. This is how it's put in the box. You have the straps there, but you can actually wear it if you want, because you do have a big enough handle to do that with. Wow, the handles are looking so great. Man, I want to test too if this works. This has to work. Yep, the scope comes up. Okay. Huh. Wow, you got the little green scope thing as well. Everything is here. That's great. I cannot wait to put this into my Sisko's hands. And I also want to show you guys the vodka tumbler, which I have in my hands right now. Yeah, this is, wow, it's so cool. It's so cool to actually have a toy that can do this. I mean, I feel like everybody's going to pose him doing this, and yeah, I'm going to do that too. So why don't we go ahead and let's start swapping some accessories, trying things out. Now, let's see how the Sisko looks. Oh, and one last thing too, I forgot about this. This looks like over here, I'm not quite sure what this is meant for. Maybe I'll figure it out as I go along, because this is pretty much a blind unboxing right now. But we do have this L car over here, which is a little bit bigger than a trading card, a little bit longer than a trading card, that's for sure. This is sort of see-through piece here. I think I'm pretty sure it's going to be meant for the display stand in some capacity. How it works, I still don't quite know, but this is a little bonus that's also included with that second tray of accessories. All right, so we talked about before how it has some magnetic accessories here. Let's just try attaching some of them right now. So I've got our tricorder right here, and let's see, I'm going to put it. Wow, okay. That was easy. Okay, sure, make my life easier. All right, let's do that with the phaser as well. Boom, wow, okay. our Sisko is equipped. He is ready for action. Well, in that case, because that was so easy, I guess let's swap some hands now. So I'm going to start with the phaser holding hand, and I'm just going to go ahead and gently pop this out. This is where it gets scary for me, folks, but oh, goodbye, phaser. So according to the video that I watched, when you hit that QR code that I showed you earlier, they recommend putting the accessories putting the accessory in the hand, I should say, first, and then reattaching the hand, which is what we're going to do here. We're going to follow their instructions. That honestly feels like a good way to do it. And nice thing I want to mention too, by the way, with those hands is how easily they come in and they came out, and how easily they're going to hopefully go back in. It's a little hard to do in front of the camera. I'm going to just take it off camera for a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I just had to take it off camera for a second to make my life a little bit easier. We'll reattach that. So we have our Sisko with a phaser right here in his hand. And the nice thing about these hands too is the fingers are a little bit soft, so you can actually kind of, you have a much easier time getting them in there. That's what I want to say. You have a much easier time getting those accessories into his hand. So let's take a closer look at this hand right now. Look at that. And yeah, I want to do this too because I want to show you guys all the detail on the hands. I mean, not just the phaser, but like on the hand itself, there's like great skin texture there, multiple colors. Like, it looks lifelike, and that's really why you're buying this toy, because you want something to look lifelike and amazing. Let's see if I could also get a tricorder into his hand, maybe. Let's try that right now. I'm going to just see if we can use his hand as well. I feel like it shouldn't be a problem. So, and if you're noticing my Sisko's falling over a lot, that is not really the fault of the figure. That's because I'm working on an uneven space. And if anybody here has watched my videos before, you know that I always struggle with having a space that's constantly causing me issues. So here we go. Like I said, I don't think this is actually even the right hand to put his tricorder in, but I'm just going to do it just to see how it looks. Just because it's kind of close enough, I feel like. So we'll put that there. Yeah, that's good enough for me, just so I could show you guys how that's looking. I mean, honestly, the only thing that can make that even better is if it had lights and things like that with it. That would, of course, increase this price by tenfold. But, I mean, yeah, it's in his hand. He's holding it. It's beautiful. I mean, that's just amazing. The fact that it's magnetic, too, it's still blowing me away. But my goodness, folks, like, the level of detail that's on this, that's just astounding to me. Like, it really is. I hope this review is doing it justice, because I feel like my words are not. But I am beyond impressed by this so far. Speaking of tiny details, by the way, I want to spend some time and talk about those pips that are up by his collar over here, which are looking beautiful as well. They're all raised. They're nice. They're joined together. That's just a great attention to detail. And I feel like we also should mention his comm badge, which is a separate piece. You know, it's funny is, Mego, again, Mego is like the king of affordable figures. Theirs are just like stickers at this point, I think. Maybe they have some actual ones attached, but this is what a comm badge should look like. I mean, great metallic colors here, beautiful sculpting. That's just a wonderful attention to detail. And again, you guys can see, just how nice this material is too now, I feel like, because this is some good material. I mean, this is like, you could probably wear this. I feel like this is the kind of thing, if it was, size for a human being, you could probably wear it and it would be pretty comfortable. Another thing also worth pointing out is that this figure, you can actually take this clothing off. So this is, we'll do some of this right now. This is a Velcro opening over here. Do it very slowly. So we're going to take this off right now. You can see what he's got underneath here, which is Sisko in suspenders. So I'm going to take these accessories off him for a second as well. Take all of this stuff off, because I think I am going to try to do a swap right now of some clothing. Let's see how that works out. So according to the QR code, you want to take off all the hands to be very, very safe about this. And yeah, you should, because you don't want to break a hand or else you're really going to be hosed. You're going to be out a lot of money. So you basically want to now put the arms back, about 25-degree angle, they say in the video. That's usually how I take my stuff off anyway with toys. And then just do it one arm at a time and be very gentle and very delicate with this. And this Sisko just looks like a Mennonite right now with this like purple outfit and his suspenders. There we go. Okay, this is totally Farmer Benjamin right now. I'm just going to call him that from now on. So there we go. That's Farmer Benjamin right there. And if you want to keep going, because I think we're going to have to get some of the other shirts on him. Yeah, we'll see how far I want to go with this, because I'm a little scared already. But yeah, next step is take the suspenders off very slowly and very erotically, I guess. Keep going. I mean, I am curious to see what kind of body he has underneath it here. What's cool too is he has a little zipper here. Like, that's a lot of fun. He's got a zipper on his trousers. I feel like this just turned into an OnlyFans video of our Sisko unboxing. But you know what? Maybe we'll keep Sisko's privacy for now. After all, I don't know how much further I want to go on this. But I do want to try at least getting the vest on him over here. So let's do that. I mean, we do have this other piece of clothing here. So the version he's currently wearing, you see already he has the zipper. That's what we were playing with a few moments ago. This one does not. So it's just the closed version. I don't know how comfortable I feel swapping them out right now. So I think I'm just going to do the vest and we'll call it a day. So here's that vest again. And just like we did with what Sisko was already wearing, we will just gently open it, take out this nice piece of foam, and now let's go ahead and get our Sisko dressed one more time. Let's see how this is gonna all look. So we got him on him. Now let's just close the Velcro. There we go. So that's how he's gonna look with this other outfit on. Let's get some other hands on him too, so he looks a little bit less naked. I think it is time now to put on the vodka tumbler as well. Let's do that. So I will say getting this jacket on him was not hard, but it wasn't easy either, and it did make me very nervous while doing that. So, you know, this is not the kind of thing you're gonna be constantly swapping out clothing with. Once you figure something out, leave it on him, and don't change it for, well, who knows how long, but don't change it for quite a long time. So I've got two hands on Sisko now, swapped out for both of the things that are in the special edition pack. And yeah, one of them would be a hand for the phaser. So I'm gonna just put that now. I'm gonna try the phaser rifle. Again, they told me to, you know, put the hand off of it first, keep the hand off it, put the phaser weapon in there, and then attach it to the arm. I'm not doing that because I'm living dangerously. You know what? I'm just gonna use this hand too. This is not the right hand to do it with, but it's already on him. I'm okay with this. I can live with it. So that's how our Sisko is gonna look with his phaser rifle. That's it. That is menacing right there. I mean, it'll look a heck of a lot better if I use the other hand, because that other hand is, by the way, a gripping one right here. I'll take some other photos of him using it later on, but wow, that's that's pretty badass right there, Sisko. He is ready to mess some people up. And you know what? We got the other hand here. I feel like now he just turned into like John Shaft, but we're gonna just go ahead and put the vodka tumbler into his hands. Wow, super easy. Let's get him in the pose here, as close as we can get at least, or partially part of the way there. But yeah, this is the hand with the vodka tumbler, and there we go. Sisko is ready to murder some Romulans. Both no, we don't have a Garrick figure yet, so I guess he can't quite do that at this time, but he's pretty darn close to it. And you know, I just want to get a shot of that phaser rifle too, because look how sick that looks in his hands. Like, wow, that just looks so great. Like, I've always been a fan of that design. I mean, the first contact phaser rifles are, I think, my favorites, but this one is just a classic. You gotta love this one, you guys. You know, I'm pretty into this pose right now, so let's go ahead and put him onto a base, and let's see how that works for him. So as I mentioned earlier, he comes with this base here, which is a piece of a transporter pad, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it underneath him. There we go. So that's gonna be how he stands on the pad without any additional support. And he is standing, which is very important. You actually can see he's standing up nice and straight on that thing. Granted, again, this table I'm using is quite floppy and quite flimsy and terrible, but he's on the base. And what a nice base it is, too. I mean, this is such a cool thing. If you had the ability to bottom light this and have some light coming through here as well, this would be really stunning. I think that's what you got to do if you want to make anything beyond this point, is do that. And also, we have this additional piece here. So I believe this you could swap out and put underneath it, and that's how you're going to have them kind of connect. It'll be a little bit more uniform to look like the actual DS9 transporter pad. And speaking of, I believe these pieces here are connectors. These are what's going to help you connect your transporter pad to other transporter pads. But I only have this Sisko, so we're not going to try that out today. We'll have to wait till I get whoever's going to be next, which we'll talk about later on also. But what I do have today is this piece of the base here. This is the handle, and this is going to be what helps keep our figure standing nice and vertical on here. And by the way, it gently pulls out, and you can actually extend it, which is great. So we're going to try this right now and see how this works. So we'll plop this guy right into here, it looks like. I assume that's how we get it in. So we will attach this into this compartment here, like that. And then if we want to have some more height, we'll just raise this up, and it does come out, so be careful with that. But yeah, there we go. And so I believe we can then just hook those around his arms, because once you find the correct height, get him up there. Or you can just leave it like this, I guess. Let's see. I think the right way to do it is over here, though. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Our Sisko's on his base. He's ready to go to town. So I'm going to take some photos also of Sisko using his other hands and different poses and things like that. But I think for now, let's go ahead and just give some different thoughts on this figure here and some concluding thoughts on him. And really, I have no complaints about this Sisko. I mean, other than the price just being enormous because it is what it is, that part sucks, but you're getting absolutely what it's worth. So I'll go through some of the cons first. So the hands were, for the most part, pretty easy to get on. I did have some problems with his right arm, and that's going to be one of those issues where user mileage may vary, as I like to say. So you might have a peg that fits a little bit better, you might have a peg that doesn't fit quite as much. If you have that issue, just hit it with a blow dryer for a little bit to help heat it up, and that should make it go a little bit smoother on. But otherwise, swapping joints was easy, and articulation is good, albeit a little bit constricting because of the material that they have. But, you know, for a lot of folks who might not know this, you know, we also look at some Mezco 112 toys too. And anytime you start getting into articulated action figures with fabric clothing, you're going to have some problems. That's mostly because the fabric is going to always be pulling down on it. The fabric always wants to resist. So there's nothing you can do about that other than work with it and don't try to stretch it beyond its limitations. If you do that, you're going to have a ripped piece of clothing, and then again, you're out of a lot of money. But speaking of that fabric, it's really high quality. It feels good to touch. It feels like real clothing, which it should, because it basically is. Feels good. Another thing to watch out for, though, is some of those elastic straps that you saw, like that he has on his boots, that he has for the suspenders. Things like that will wear out over time, especially if you use them a lot. But if you just keep them as is and where they are, you'll be okay. The head sculpt is a knockout. It's a 10 out of 10. No complaints from me there. I was actually worried about the head sculpt, to be honest, because when I first saw photos, I thought maybe they didn't quite get him correctly, but no, it's an excellent head sculpt. It's absolutely Avery Brooks. And likewise with the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the lip structure, the ears even. I mean, the forehead, everything here is Avery Brooks. This is it. This is the Sisko I've been waiting for all my life. I love the different accessories you get. I love the different hand options. The hands feel great, but really the accessories are just also amazing. Like, again, there's that word again, but the accessories are that damn good. They're magnetic. They've got all the right decals. They're painted beautifully. The baseball is also a wonderful thing to add in there, because you can't have a Sisko without a baseball. The magnets also shocked me. I didn't know they were part of this, and what a brilliant choice that was also. By the way, yeah, as you can tell, I'm pretty sure now I want to get more figures, because I just said it on camera. I think I just committed myself to buying more of these guys. And, well, no regrets, as they say, because, yeah, I can tell you guys who's coming next. We were teased. It looks like Quark is going to be the next figure in this DS9 series. And I'm really hoping that they make a deluxe Quark with some additional outfits to wear, because that's a guy who needs some additional outfits. Now, I think one thing I am going to get critical about here with these figures is the head sculpt, and not the head sculpt itself, because the head sculpt is, you know, as I said already, amazing. What I am going to complain about a little bit is the fact that there's only one head sculpt here. Now, we're paying a lot of money for this, and we're getting a lot of great value with what we're having here, but I wish we had some more head sculpts. And this appears to be a thing that they're doing throughout the entire wave. Throughout all the different lines that are coming out, they all seem to just have one head sculpt. I would love to have some additional head sculpts with different expressions on them, because right now, for the most part, all the expressions are this blank face. And while the heads have a lot of life to them, having more facial expressions would be, I think, a much improved way to do it. Now, Super 7 is doing a bunch of TNG figures now, and they're going to be their Ultimate Editions, which are, again, also going to be high priced at $55 each right now. But at least those have some different head sculpts. And I think head sculpts are very important to have, because you get the right expression you want. It adds a lot to the figure. It adds a lot to how you display this. Because even though these are expensive figures, most people don't leave these in box. The majority of collectors are going to have these on display, because really, something like this you got to have on display. So for me, that's really just the one thing I want to see, and that's an additional head sculpt. Even just one would make me happy. Whatever that facial expression can be, that's up to them. But especially a character like Quark or other folks, you know, like you might want one that has a closed mouth and one that has an open mouth. So just something like that to give us a little bit more variation and maybe a little bit extra value. And you know, I will say I wouldn't mind spending a little bit more if there were additional head sculpts. But as it stands, this Sisko for me, this is 10 out of 10. And this figure to me was going to be like what maybe decide if I would buy more of them or if I would just pass on this or just have one and done. No, I got to get more. This is amazing. I love this. Like, this is what I've been waiting for all my life. As an adult collector, this is what I've wanted. This is an art piece. And don't get me wrong, I'll still get the $12 Playmates action figures, because those are a lot of fun and they're affordable enough. But this is what's going to really be on my display shelf. This is what I want to have. This is Star Trek. So if you are a serious Star Trek collector, you know, if you can afford to do it, put down the money and get yourself some of your favorite characters, because man, once you get one of these, it's going to change how you look at toy collecting. It's going to change everything. It's going to really class up your figure collecting shelf or wherever you got your Star Trek stuff on display. It's astounding. That's really the best I can say for it, and I'm excited to spend even more money to buy additional characters in this line. And that's saying a lot, because this price point, it's nothing to joke about. My checking account is about to get very, very empty, but you know what? I can live with it. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Don't forget to check out my Trek Untold podcast, which you can find at my second YouTube channel, youtube.com/@TrekUntold. That's got all my interviews with all sorts of folks across the Star Trek universe. Don't miss it. And stay tuned here for more toy reviews and everything else that we do here on this channel. And as I say at the end of my show, in one of my favorite DS9 episodes ever, fortune favors the bold.